stop creating chaos.
You do not stand for me, and I want you to step down.
The mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, lashed out at her board of trustees during another tense meeting.
She vetoed the board's decision to require the village to open its financial books.
This what y'all say about the person. Y'all say he's never at work, he'll do his job. Is this what y'all say? So what we doing, guys?
I can say what I want because what I'm saying is
my son. Don't touch my son.
You know what I'm saying?
He don't have no warrant for his arrest. He don't have no paperwork or nothing.
You ain't no real man.
No.
Great day in Dalton. Justice is being served.
In a shocking turn of events, what does the indictment mean for Tiffany Henyard, the so-called super mayor of Dalton? Is her corrupt empire finally on the verge of collapsing? Dalton's police chief, B.L. Lacey, has now been charged, and this could be the controversy that takes Henyard down. Will her trusted police chief face years in prison, or could he turn on her to save himself? Stay tuned as we dive into the details. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe to our channel for more updates and videos like this one.
The police chief of Dalton now facing federal charges. A grand jury indicted him on bankruptcy fraud charges today.
So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on that.
She did admit to a $2 million budget deficit. However, trustees say it's really millions more.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard last night wasting no time shutting down trustees and critics.
The veto message is related to the secret squirrel means, yes, that the Board of Trustees.
Federal prosecutors laid out a 9-count indictment against the Dalton official, claiming he devised a scheme to defraud by way of filing for bankruptcy.
The situation is unfolding as follows. Police Chief B.L. Lacey, a close ally of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, is now facing serious allegations that could lead to a lengthy prison sentence. Lacey, who has been charged with 9 counts related to a financial scam, has shocked the Dalton community. According to the indictment, Lacey lied under oath to conceal his assets and income, attempting to avoid paying over $440,000 in a lawsuit settlement. He is facing charges of perjury, bankruptcy fraud, and making false statements in bankruptcy court, each of which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. Recently, the 61-year-old Lacey from Madison appeared in court wearing a blue suit and briefly addressed the allegations, ensuring he understood the charges against him. His attorney, Yao Petke, entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Despite Petke's objections, Lacey was ordered by Magistrate Judge Beth Jantz to surrender his work-issued firearm, 2 additional firearms from his home, and his firearm owner's ID card. However, Judge Jantz noted that the restrictions could be reconsidered if Petke could demonstrate how they would impact Lacey's role within the Dalton Police Department. A status hearing is set for October 1st, before U.S. District Judge Thomas Durpin. These charges are part of a broader federal investigation into allegations of corruption involving Mayor Henyard, although they are unrelated to Lacey's duties as police chief.
I gave you my driver's license. I'm not gonna reach. Give me an officer, another officer come, I'll reach for it. I'm not gonna reach, I got guns on me.
Lacey's indictment marks just the latest in a series of challenges for Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who has already been dealing with multiple federal investigations this year. Lacey's lawyer, Gal Petke, told reporters that these charges are part of a broader effort to tarnish the mayor's reputation. He emphasized Lacey's long-standing career and solid reputation within the Dalton Police Department, labeling the situation a witch hunt aimed at taking Lacey down to target Mayor Henyard. Recently, the village trustee placed Lacey on indefinite administrative leave, but Petke has contested this decision, arguing that the trustees don't have the authority to do so. He believes Lacey should continue receiving his salary, claiming the trustees' actions are illegal. Petke also pointed out that, as the mayor, Henyard is responsible for signing paychecks
as well, but now Keith Freeman is cooperating, doing what he should have been done in the first place.
Cooperating with trustees.
With the trustees.
Lacey's financial troubles stretch back to the 1980s, according to the indictment. He has filed for personal bankruptcy multiple times in Chicago, with his most recent filings in 2019 and 2020, which appeared to delay a settlement he had reached in a 2017 state court case. This pattern of financial misconduct has now come to light. The case involved a woman whose husband was murdered in 2012. The lawsuit claims that Lacey convinced the widow to give him tens of thousands of dollars from her husband's life insurance payout during multiple visits. Court documents reveal that Lacey concealed bank accounts he controlled and failed to fully disclose his income in his filings and statements under oath. He also lied about being separated from his wife. Lacey admitted in court documents that he expressed sympathy and checked on the plaintiff's well-being, but he denied taking any money. The lawsuit was eventually settled for $55,000, with Lacey making an initial payment of $112,000. However, the fraud charges claim Lacey filed for bankruptcy twice to avoid paying the remaining $43,000. The indictment alleges he lied about his income, stating that his wife didn't live with him or contribute to his salary or house payments in order to dodge creditors. This indictment is not an isolated incident, but rather the beginning of a process to dismantle the corrupt system reportedly. Created by Tiffany Henyard. According to reports, Henyard has used her power to turn the Dalton Police Department into her personal enforcers, with officers allegedly engaging in intimidation of political rivals, extortion of local businesses, and providing private security for Henyard and her inner circle. This indictment could be the first step in addressing the long-standing corruption that has plagued the community, with justice finally beginning to catch up.
Do not work here, he's from. So stop playing these silly games, Board of Trustees, and putting people's lives in jeopardy. Do what you want. But anything after this is insubordination.
With Lacey facing serious charges, he may be forced to cooperate with investigators to protect himself. If he does, he could be in deep trouble, as we've seen before when individuals backed into a corner are willing to expose everything to save themselves. Lacey's indictment marks a significant crack in the corrupt system, and if he chooses to work with authorities to avoid a lengthy prison sentence, he could reveal how Mayor Tiffany Henyard allegedly misused the police force. Henyard herself could face criminal prosecution if these revelations come to light. Rumors are circulating that some members of Henyard's administration are already preparing to turn on her. 6 months ago, Robert Collins, the former South Suburban Dalton police chief, spoke out about the controversial security detail provided to Henyard. He argued that her request for personal protection made it harder for him to effectively fight crime in the city. If Lacey follows suit, it could be the beginning of the end for Henyard's entire operation.
2 officers or 3 officers, and depending on if there was some type of event, it would be more.
A 2023 Fox 32 investigation revealed that Mayor Tiffany Henyard's security detail was costing taxpayers thousands of dollars in overtime while also pulling officers away from street patrols. The strain on police resources became a major issue under former police chief Robert Collins, who disclosed that manpower was so stretched that it nearly broke the department. Instead of assigning officers to patrol the streets, where they were desperately needed, they were tasked with protecting the mayor, who is now in Florida after being fired by Henyard late last year. Collins expressed his frustration with leading an already overworked and understaffed department while being forced to allocate resources to Henyard's security. He stated, "We really needed these officers on the streets fighting crime, but instead, they were called in to drive the mayor. This is terrible, and someone has to answer for it." During the day, Dalton police officers were often assigned to transport Henyard to her second taxpayer-funded position as the supervisor of Thornton Township in South Holland. According to an open records request, these officers accumulated hundreds of overtime hours, costing taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars. The excessive security detail raised significant concerns in a small community of just over 20,000 residents, many of whom were already struggling financially. Typically, Dalton only assigns a small number of officers per shift, and Collins noted the urgent need for those officers elsewhere. The security detail had initially been justified in 2021 after a police shooting in the area led to protests and threats against the mayor. However, as the protests subsided, the detail not only continued but expanded. Collins observed that officers were no longer just providing security, but were also running personal errands, such as picking up and dropping off items, while accompanying Henyard on out-of-town trips. These trips also incurred thousands of dollars in travel expenses, raising the question, why did the mayor need a security detail for these trips, and who was threatening her? Collins warned that the use of police resources for Henyard's security made it more difficult to address Dalton's rising crime rate. In February, a gunshot on Cy Boulevard injured 4 people, and Collins believes the incident could have been prevented with more officers on the streets. He pointed out that Dalton was grappling with gang violence, firearms, and drugs, and police presence on the streets was essential to combating crime. Instead, officers were taken off patrols and assigned to accompany the mayor, reducing visibility and giving criminals more confidence. When Fox 32 questioned Henyard about her use of the police security detail, Dalton's village administrator, Keith Freeman, stepped in and obstructed their camera, preventing the mayor from responding to the inquiries.
Officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around.
Collins revealed that when he raised his concerns with Keith Freeman, he was met with strong opposition. Freeman dismissed his worries, stating, "It was made clear to me that these were the orders, and I had to follow them." Collins went on to clarify that he filed a civil case against the village of Dalton last week for wrongful termination. He alleges that Mayor Henyard fired him without justification and violated proper procedures. Collins maintains that his termination was unlawful, pointing to board approval and suggesting that his wife's friendships with some of the mayor's former political rivals may have played a role in his dismissal. Collins, an experienced law enforcement officer, was unexpectedly fired by Henyard, according to his lawyer, who specializes in police matters. The lawyer stated that Collins's termination was entirely unjustified, describing him as a patrolman at heart.
Absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt.
The question now is whether Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who bills herself as the super mayor and claims to be the most powerful woman on the south side of Chicago, is truly using her authority for the greater good. Many people, both online and within her community, are accusing her of being the most corrupt mayor in America. Let's take a closer look at the accusations and controversies fueling these claims. Mayor Henyard has been accused of canceling business licenses for those who refuse to donate to her charity in what is being described as a pay-to-play scheme. This has sparked allegations of bribery and kickbacks, with business owners feeling pressured to support her personal agenda in order to keep their operations running. Many, including those in Dalton, believe they are being forced to align with her causes to maintain their businesses. She is also facing criticism for lavish spending of tax dollars, particularly for her reported habit of traveling first class. It's been revealed that Henyard had the city fund her personal ice skating rink, a luxury that most taxpayers would consider unnecessary or inappropriate. Additionally, she has been accused of using public funds to promote herself, including putting her face on 22 billboards throughout the city. These extravagant expenses have raised eyebrows, especially in a community where many residents are struggling to make ends meet. The dissatisfaction among residents has only grown as they feel increasingly neglected by the very person they elected to serve them. Amid these difficulties, it's clear that image management has become a full-time job for Henyard. Reports indicate that she's spending tens of thousands of dollars each month on a PR firm to enhance her image. Her dual responsibilities as the supervisor of Thornton Township and mayor of Dalton also raise concerns about her ability to effectively serve both roles.
I'm the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing.
Mayor Henyard has been accused of double-dipping by accepting salaries from 2 well-paying jobs while allegedly using her position to protect her own interests. Some believe the new supervisor position she holds would be subject to a 90% wage cut if she is not re-elected, raising concerns about whether she is more focused on preserving her financial security than serving the community. Henyard's financial management is also under scrutiny, with reports suggesting she has accumulated a significant amount of credit card debt. This has led to speculation that she might be using the village's funds as her personal account. The lack of transparency around her spending has only fueled residents' frustration, with many questioning how their tax dollars are being used. The controversy intensified after Henyard was reportedly quoted saying, "Better have my money," statement more often associated with loan sharks than public officials. What's even more shocking is that Henyard has compared herself to civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., a comment that has raised eyebrows. However, the most alarming allegations involve claims of her involvement in criminal activity, which has cast doubt on her judgment and her commitment to the community. Some have even suggested that Henyard acts more like a crime boss than a public servant, with rumors circulating that she ordered the cars of political opponents to be shot at in an attempt to intimidate them. Whether these rumors are true or not, the fact that they are circulating shows the depth of mistrust and fear that Henyard has cultivated in Dalton. Reports indicate that Henyard travels with a large private security team, fully funded by taxpayers. This level of protection is typically reserved for individuals who face serious threats to their safety, raising questions about what specific dangers Henyard is concerned about. There are also rumors that she has the support of the local police department, in part due to the significant overtime she has allegedly allowed officers to accrue, again at the expense of taxpayers.
Be paid that amount of money under no circumstances.
Get these records for the past 2 years. Now we have some idea,
The growing perception that Mayor Henyard is more focused on protecting her personal interests than truly serving the community has been reinforced by allegations of power abuse and misuse of resources. With everything that's unfolding, it's clear that Henyard is under intense scrutiny. The FBI has been investigating her for some time, and with Lacey, the acting Dalton police chief, now facing federal charges, the pressure is mounting. Why is this such a big deal? Lacey's legal troubles may just be the tipping point that brings everything crashing down. The issues at hand go beyond Lacey's alleged offenses. They directly impact Dalton's leadership and the town's future. Mayor Henyard is currently under federal investigation for corruption and poor management, and the charges she faces could rock the town to its core. Dalton trustees recently appointed former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot as a special investigator to look into the matter. Since Henyard took office in 2021, Dalton's finances have sharply declined. According to a shocking report by Lightfoot, the village's general fund plummeted from $561 million in April 2022 to a deficit of $3.65 million by May 2024, an almost $9 million swing in just 2 years. The audit not only highlights this drastic financial deterioration, but also uncovers specific instances of taxpayer money being misused. One of the most eyebrow-raising findings was that village credit cards were used for extravagant purchases, including a staggering $33,500 spent on Amazon in a single day, along with nearly $7,700 spent on Wayfair on the same day. These transactions, among others, have raised serious concerns about the management and allocation of taxpayer funds.
They told me to tell y'all, right here, every single resident.
The financial turmoil facing Dalton has sparked outrage among residents, with village trustee Kiana Belcher expressing the community's sense of indignation and betrayal. According to Lightfoot's investigation, over $6 million in checks were authorized but never distributed to departing suppliers, further throwing the village's financial obligations into disarray. Trustee Tammy Brown didn't hold back when she stated that nothing will change unless the community confronts the corruption head-on. She emphasized the urgent need for a leadership overhaul, calling for a complete revamp of the leadership by February 2025. But the financial mismanagement doesn't stop there. Payroll issues have also surfaced in the Dalton Police Department, where 2 officers racked up so much overtime that it exceeded their annual salaries. One officer, for example, earned nearly $5,000 in overtime in addition to their base salary of $87,200, raising serious concerns about the proper use of taxpayer funds.
Louis Lacey, who was fired this week, also made a killing in overtime. Check out how much he was paid in overtime since 2022. Last fiscal year, the village paid him $96,000 in addition to his...
Since becoming Dalton's first female mayor, Tiffany Henyard's tenure has been marred by controversy. In addition to her role as mayor, she also serves as the supervisor of Thornton Township, and her picture is prominently displayed outside Village Hall, an image that some find inappropriate given the mounting accusations against her. Critics, including trustees, business owners, and even the Illinois Attorney General's office, have accused Henyard of corruption and using political revenge tactics. She is allegedly exploiting village funds as her personal piggy bank, all while Dalton's debts and unpaid bills continue to accumulate.
Investigation also uncovered spending that just doesn't add up when it comes to municipal spending. The report shows there's $40,000 unaccounted for spent on Amazon purchases in a single day.
For what? That's ridiculous. What did they get from Amazon for $40,000?
I've actually been watching it saying, when is the tsunami going to actually hit us and knock the community off its feet? That's what I just...
Residents of Dalton are so frustrated that they packed a recent meeting demanding answers. Jason House, in particular, criticized Mayor Henyard for taking extravagant trips with village employees, which has only added to Dalton's growing multi-million-dollar deficit. Lawrence Gardner and other local business owners have also felt the negative impact of Henyard's leadership, which has strained the community further. Henyard's charity has also come under scrutiny. The Illinois Attorney General's office recently filed a cease and desist order against the nonprofit, accusing it of misconduct. Henyard and her spokesperson deny any wrongdoing, claiming they have not heard of any investigations or received any formal complaints. In response, Henyard has accused her critics of spreading false claims and filing costly lawsuits at taxpayer expense, calling the investigations a political circus. However, since the indictment of her top cop, Lacey, Henyard has gone silent, refusing to comment or address the media. She was also absent from the most recent meeting, adding to the growing questions about her leadership. The situation is becoming more dire. Henyard's office at Dalton Village Hall has not responded to repeated requests for interviews. One employee claimed Henyard wasn't in the office and couldn't specify when she would return. The stakes are high. If Lacey decides to cooperate with investigators, Henyard could face serious charges of corruption and misuse of her position. It's possible that other members of her administration may come forward to testify against her, putting her entire political career at risk. Henyard has been playing a dangerous game for years, but now her house of cards seems to be on the verge of collapsing. Will Lacey's indictment be the tipping point that finally brings down Henyard, or will she manage to escape once again as she has in the past? As this story unfolds, it's clear that Henyard is in more trouble than ever. With her, top cop possibly ready to turn on her, she's running out of options. The next few weeks could determine her fate, as well as the future of Dalton's leadership. That's all for today. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for more videos like this one. Until next time, thanks for watching.